since you've been away.
DJ Payne 1.
Oh, come on.
I don't think that I'm coming back. Boy, I told you I'm done with that. You think you can do me so wrong? I'm not the one, no, I'm not the I don't think that I'm coming back. Boy, I told you I'm done with that. You think you can do me so wrong? I'm not the one, no, I'm not the
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to the Space Cowboy Show. I'm your host, Ricardo. We have a Cowboys victory to cover. You know, the more things change, the more things stay the same. The Cowboys go for another win, and they get it against the New York Giants. They are now, 16-17 in their last handful of matchups. Look, man, this game took years off my life, probably yours too, and there's plenty we have to talk about, whether it be from the porous defense we watched to the offense for the Cowboys doing what it did to keep them alive and putting up points. We got a 40-burger in this game. We had a 41-point fourth quarter, which is insane to say the least, but it does show that offensively the Cowboys can go tit for tat with anybody in the National Football League. However, the question then becomes, what does this say about the Giants? What does this say about the Cowboys? We're going to talk about that all in today's show. Before we get started, if you guys could please hit the like button. It doesn't take too long to do. It's free and it helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new. If you're watching this on Twitter/X, hit the follow button, hit likes and all that other stuff, and retweet it, reshare it, whatever you want to call it. Hit the notification bell if you're already subscribed so you don't miss out on any more content as it comes out. And finally, if you could, please make sure to just share this entire thing with your friends and family. Kretschman Media. We actually have the CEO Sports Show coming on later tonight, where we're going to be recapping most of the games and the storylines from this Sunday of football. But as a fan, this was an electric win for the Dallas Cowboys. Their 1,000th game. I believe this was the 45th time in their history of going into an overtime game, and to have, I believe, 3 offensive possessions and still manage to pull out a win. You can't write this up, man. Like, just when you think the Giants had you, you just managed to pull a rabbit out of your hat, and you managed to win this game 40-37, man. What a huge win for the Cowboys. But from the fan element, I'm excited. You get your first win, and for the past 5 or 6 years, this has been the theme of the Dallas Cowboys in week 2, typically, where they will have this weird, wonky game. We saw it in 2020 when they came back down 20-something odd points to the Atlanta Falcons. We saw it in 2021 with the win versus the Bengals and how that had to come down to the wire. And I mean, it's just crazy to me. And you can maybe even throw 2022 in. I believe we played the Giants on the road, but there's just so much that happened in this game, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to cover. So the show might go for an hour. Sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and actually dive into the game now that it's been, I want to say, an hour since. No, it's been about 30 minutes to an hour since the game ended. And a lot of emotions going on right now, right? You get that win, that home opener win. You get Shoddy's first win as a head coach, and what a way to do it. But defensively, this was a horrible showing for this Cowboys secondary, specifically. The defensive line gave you 3 sacks. They were generating pressure, but there were moments where you needed to get a stop. And it wasn't until the very final drive by the Giants where you got the stop with the interception by Donovan Wilson, but it should have never gotten to this position. Russell Wilson went 30 for 41, had a career-high 450 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and the lone interception that led to the Cowboys going on to win the game, a passer rating of 123. Unacceptable. You know, like, you saw a Giants team, and again, the NFL is a week-to-week type of league. Things can change on the dime. But the fact that the New York Giants passing attack managed to put up that kind of yardage on your secondary is alarming. Very alarming. He had a career day today. Considering this was a Giants team that scored no touchdowns in week 1 against the Commanders. So I am just absolutely mortified with what we saw defensively. Rushing. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I wanted to actually talk about this. The Dallas Cowboys defensive line really held it down when it came to the rush attack of the Giants, right? 21 carries for the Giants, 84 yards, 4 yards per carry. And really, they only had the Wilson scramble and the Cam Scattaboo 24-yard play where they brought out Jackson Dart on the weird-ass play that led him to the score. But you pretty much held them in that containment when it came to the run game. But this is nasty. When you look at these receiving numbers, Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson had a day. 9 receptions, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns on 13 targets. I just cannot believe what we saw. And Mike, let's go. Listen, I'm excited that this team managed to win, but holy hell, they made this harder on them. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 receptions, 142 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Just, oh my word, I cannot believe what we just saw. And so, sorry about the little pause. I'm just inviting my business partner and colleague, Chris, with Kretschman Media. He should be coming on shortly. And Mike says it right here. I give props to Dak, man. I'll say this, Mike, and then we'll hopefully Chris will hop on as we're going through this. Dak had himself a day, man. 38 for 52, 361 passing yards. 2 touchdowns and an interception. The interception was definitely on him. I understand he was getting hit as the ball through, but you can't force the ball in that situation. You're lucky your defense was able to bail you out. But Dak had himself a game. He was on a heater in this game, man. CeeDee Lamb, 9 receptions, 112 yards, no touchdowns, but still, he was, when we were feeding him the ball. George Pickens, he came alive when you need to. There was a weird play where, like, it was an overtime where George Pickens was called for an offensive pass interference, and I was like, where is that? But still, Jake Ferguson had himself a solid game. I mean, wow. And when we're talking about the rush attack of the Cowboys, 28 rushes, 135 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. Javonte Williams was averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Absolutely outstanding. As for Miles Sanders, I'm done with the Sanders experiment. I really hope that you can get someone else out there. But, yeah. And then LA, what's going on? Linebackers needed. Safeties are needed. Passer. I mean, you pretty much need to work on everything defensively. And then, Mike, what we got here, people are saying Russ outplayed Dak. They played against the worst defense in the league. And I would agree. I think that for Russell Wilson, he was carving up a defense that struggled with the safeties, that struggled generating pressure needed. And you were able to stop the run, but goddamn, were you able to, like, get torched? I mean, I can't believe it, guys. I'm just still at a loss for words with what we saw defensively. And then this is where, how do I even want to put this, man? Because I'm like having a throbbing headache for what I was, because like the fan side of me is ecstatic that you won this game. But the part of me where I'm trying to watch this is like, this feels like 2020 all over again, where you're basically going to have to put up 40 points a game to have a chance. And I said it on Talking Crazy with Cowboys Corner and the gang over there. Please make sure to go check that out on Saturdays. That's fun as well. And Freaky Friday over with Fifth Quarter Cowboys also. They have some good stuff over there. I remember talking about how you have the Bears coming up, you have the Packers coming up. I'm a bit worried about those matchups, considering the fact that defensively, if you can improve there, we're going to have some issues. And so that, you know, man, like, this is exactly why I get so nervous when we talk about how this year is going, because if you were kind of going into this year with the idea, and again, I'm sorry, I'm just sending the link to my colleague Chris. He'll probably be in shortly, so I apologize for the pauses. They signed Clowney. It's official. Let's take a look. Thank you so much. I'll have to do another. Yep. 22 minutes ago, Jadeveon Clowney is a Dallas Cowboy. What a impressive another win, I guess. I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and get my guy in here, Cowboys beat, if he's ready. I think let me just see if he is.
I'm ready. Yep.
All right, there you are. What's
Here
going
I am.
on, Chris? What a win by the Cowboys. I wanted to ask, while I had you on the show, thank you so much for coming on, what were your main takeaways from today's game?
Look, if we're going to be excited after losing a game, I think you're allowed to be excited after winning a game, because you played as bad of a game as you're going to play. At least defensively you did. Offensively, you were clicking on all cylinders. The thing, my biggest takeaway coming out of this game is this offense is going to win you a lot of games. If this defense can play at a better rate than what they played at today, a much better, like much better, they have a chance to be a very, very good team. But, you know, they're very reliant on, you know, Deron Bland, obviously, because, I mean, you had him in the secondary last week, and you saw what happened. I mean, honestly, maybe that's a conversation we have to have about maybe Jalen Hurts, but neither here nor there. I mean, I just look at this and I say, look, there are some concerns coming out of this game. You're not going to win a Super Bowl in week 2, but with what happened defensively and for your offense to put up the amount of points that you put up on that defense, that's a very good defense.
Right.
And you moved the ball when you needed to move the ball, and you made plays. And not only that, you left plays on the table. I mean, like that Tolbert catch that, I mean, the ball was literally right in his hands. He has to grab
Right.
that.
Mhm.
And the Pickens fake offensive pass interference.
Yeah, that was weird because then we're probably not having the conversation about what happens at the end of the game. You probably go down and score and you win the game there.
Look, and for sure. And here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
We got to find we got to find something better than Luke Schoonmaker. Like when he is on the field, he just provides absolutely nothing. You're playing with 10 guys when he's on the field. I mean, truly. I mean, they have to find an answer there. They have to find a reliable pass catcher that they can add in the lineup because, man, he is just he does not provide very much at all.
I agree. I mean, I honestly liked when Brevin Spanford came in. I've been pretty high on him, but I'm not sure if he'll be as reliable as what you want him to be. But I mean, Chris, I was just talking about it before you came in, that the Cowboys pretty much held the run defense of the Giants in check. But the biggest concern was their ability to get like in the passing game. They had the big chunk plays there multiple times in the fourth quarter. And so I guess my question to you is defensively, if there's only one, like if you can only make one move, I understand we can't fix the whole thing, right? Because this is going to be a long term. If you can do a move to improve this defense at any particular position, what are you doing and why?
Well, so I mean, they obviously already signed Jadeveon Clowney, so that's
Yep, that happened 20 minutes ago. Yep.
so I would look and see what Justin Simmons still has. Donovan
Okay.
Wilson in this scheme, like when he's playing deep safety, he's a liability, and teams know it, and they target him, and they throw the ball deep, and they have a lot of success doing that. They need to find a safety that has better range. Like Donovan Wilson is a useful player, but in the role that he's been playing over the past 2 years, where he's in that deep safety role, he's not useful, and he's actually a gigantic liability. So they need to make a move at safety. They need to add another safety. They have money to spend. Go out and spend it.
I completely agree, man. You know, that's exactly what they should be doing. I think that at least Donovan Wilson made up for the mistakes. But like I saw people trying to roast Diggs for I believe it was the 2 touchdowns that were given up. But I'm like, there was no safety help back there for him.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to be mad at Diggs when he's doing his job? Like, I'm not trying to act like everyone's perfect or like, you know, they're not at fault. But the fact of the matter is your safety play really killed you in this game and almost cost you this game.
Well, and the thing is, because people are so used to this team playing so much man coverage that when they play zone and they see, you know, Diggs get beat deep, they're automatically saying to themselves, oh, well, he got beat deep. Why did it, you know, like Diggs, you got to be better. But it's like they're playing more zone. So it may look like Diggs got beat deep, but he was playing his responsibility. The safety wasn't giving the proper help that he needed to give over the top. He wasn't filling his responsibility. So it's a lot more difficult to place blame on individual players
Right.
when they play as much zone because, you know, I think it's not. I mean, you're not doing justice by the players by doing that.
Right, and I don't think you have the necessary players to run what you want to do schematically. Hence why I think that they're going to need to, over the next, 2 to 3 years, they're going to have to work on that. But I'm not sure how much longer you're going to stick around.
This defense is legit. Or I'm sorry, the offense, I mean. Offense
I was about to get to that. So offensively, the Cowboys, and I said this before you came in, actually, when it came to what the Cowboys can do, it looks like they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the National Football League in a shootout. It really looks like that. Dak Prescott was on a heater today. Really, the only mistake that I had on him was the interception that he threw because you're throwing it at that point, like forcing the ball. You shouldn't be doing that. But he threw the ball 52 times today.
I was about to say.
He threw the ball 50. So you're bound to have a mistake in there. And I'm not trying to excuse the mistake, but again, the more attempts, the higher the volume, the more of there being a likelihood of a turnover. But Chris,
I'll give
they
you
did
this
a.
perspective
Oh, go ahead.
on that real
Yeah,
quick.
sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
but-
no, go for it.
So 52 attempts, right? I mean, on average, teams are throwing the ball 25 to 27 times a game, right? So you really threw the ball, you know, what you're usually getting out of two games for an average quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you're getting 52 attempts in 2 games. So if somebody throws one interception in 2 games, you know, like think about it like that. Like, and the thing is, like the Giants' defense is really good. Like their
Right.
pass rush is going to give anybody problems. Their pass rush is like no matter who the team is, they're going to give them problems. So you know, like that's my thing. Like even though they were doing a good job getting pressure, Dak was staying in the pocket and letting it rip, and he looked comfortable, even though things weren't perfect for him.
Right. And we saw, and this is the other thing, Chris, is like people were talking about how Dak's afraid to use his legs. I disagree. I mean, we kind of saw what he did. Like, there were moments where, like, when there was that one play when he had to, like, Guyton messed on the block and he had to kind of scramble around, and BB just didn't know what was going on. So he couldn't really block him and, you know, for him in front of him. That's one thing. But the fact that Dak had the wherewithal to understand the situation and just run it, go down, and go from there. But I really wanted to focus in on this. The end of the game in the fourth quarter, at the end of regulation, I'm sorry. Brandon Aubrey needs to be paid immediately. This man, holy mackerel. Like, I could not have asked for better execution at the end of a game than you could have thought about. Like, they got into field goal range with the pass to Ferguson. They trusted him by running the ball with Williams, clocked it at 5 seconds. Chris, like, we can talk about, you know, how we were under Mike McCarthy, and we could talk about the clock management at the end of the half. Was not a fan of that, but I got to give Schottenheimer props for how he handled the end of this game and executed that, if that's what was drawn up, because that was phenomenal. But more specifically, it goes all on Aubrey for hitting that 64-yarder and having that composure to hit it at that point in the game.
I mean, look, there's a very legitimate case to be made that he's the best kicker in NFL history. I mean that's what we're dealing with here.
And that's not crazy to say.
This guy is a generational talent at that position. And man, when the game is on the line with that guy kicking, I mean, it's I didn't have any question about that. 64.
I was about to say, were you worried? Were you worried when
not
it was
at all.
me either? Like, what was crazy was with how the game was going. I was at my mom's watching the game, and we were debating, do you score right here? Which that's what she was trying to tell me. Or do you, knowing how it's like basically a shootout, do you just run the clock out and try to score, you know, so they have no time at all? But again, hindsight's always going to be 20/20. But the fact that Brandon Aubrey came up clutch for you is exactly what you need in situations like that. And again, I honestly thought, Chris, if if they had the ball at midfield, they could have probably kicked it and still won the game, like in overtime.
And here's the thing, I think people are freaking out about this team after this game. I don't know if anybody's watching the Eagles and the Chiefs game.
What's going on in that game? I haven't seen it because I was driving home.
It's 10-10, but I mean, there's no super team in this division. There's not. You can win this division.
Really? You think the division's winnable this year?
Yeah, they can win this division. I'm not saying they're going to 100%. They can win this division. The Eagles they're not that good this year. I mean, I'm watching them. I mean, Jalen Hurts, holy cow, man. That dude, what are those memes where it's like, what are those memes where it's like, do this, or throw the ball in less than 4 seconds?
Oh, it's the Uno card. It's the Uno card meme. I think you're thinking of, where it's like draw 20 or do this or draw 20, and then the dude has all the cards.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, if it said, like, hey, throw the ball in less than 4 seconds, he would have to do whatever whatever the opposite thing is there. So, no, there's no great team in this division. All these
I,
teams have flaws, but I think the best thing that you have going for you is that you have the best offense in the division and maybe
it
potentially even
looks
in the
like it.
conference.
It looks
Potentially
like it,
even in the
Chris.
conference.
And that's even with the deficiencies at running back that we've talked. I'm not saying like Williams is terrible. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying like, you know how like people talk about how Saquon Barkley is and stuff like that. My thing is that the Cowboys offense woke up today when we desperately needed them to. Pickens came alive. And you know what's crazy, Chris? Is that even when he's not catching the ball, he's a DPI machine. He's
Oh
moving
yeah.
the chains. He's keeping this ball moving. CeeDee Lamb had another 100-yard game. And by the way, that was without having I think he didn't have a single catch in that first quarter. That is impressive, man. And again, Dak Prescott has done very well for this Cowboys team so far this year.
Oh,
He's
look, he's going to start entering in to MVP conversations. I mean, it should start this week because what he did, it wasn't easy what he just did.
Mhm.
And I mean, look, this is why you pay him the big dollars because it's just I'm at a point with Dak Prescott where he's going to put his team in position to win the game. Like we saw that today, even like they gave it was what was it? It was 37-33 or something, I think it was, and then the Giants scored the touchdown. But before that, no, I'm sorry, it was 34-37. No,
34 30.
yeah,
34 30.
you know
Yeah.
where I'm getting at. You know
Yeah.
where I'm getting at. Like Dak gave them the lead, and then obviously the Giants took the lead again. But then he made the throws he needed to make to get his team in field goal position. And then, I mean, even in that first drive that they had, he delivers the ball to Tolbert, and it's right in his hands. Like, and then
Right.
you go back to last week, and I mean, he was throwing the ball down the field, put the ball right into CD's hands. I mean, it's just I have so much confidence in this guy, and when people say like, "Oh, you paid him 60 million," yeah, you might have paid him a few more million than he's probably worth, but
But that's
I
what
mean,
you
this
pay him
guy
the big
is
bucks for.
this guy's still one of the very best quarterbacks in football, and
Chris,
he proved it.
he was so cerebral in this game. Again, the only mistake I could really flag him for was the INT. But again, like you pointed out, and kind of how I thought in the moment was not only did your defense negate what happened there, the fact of the matter is he's passed the ball 52 times and he completed 38 passes. That is impressive. And the fact is that knowing how this defense is, if I believe I said this on Cowboys Corner show on Saturday, Chris, they locked down Tyler Smith. I'm going to talk about that on my next show when we're talking about like the Micah Parsons trade now that we're kind of seeing the aftermath of what's going on. But the fact is, Chris, honestly, they just need to re-sign George Pickens, and this offense is pretty much set. And you can replace the running backs if you want. Your offensive line's pretty much set. Granted, they're still young and developing, but like, am I crazy for saying that they could literally just sign George Pickens? The offense is more or less set, minus a couple positions where you can kind of work on behind the scenes in the offseason, and all they got to do is revamp the deep. This literally could, if they can get this defense set over the next year or two, this team could be scary.
Oh yeah, one
Like,
and that's what and this is the thing, right? That's what you get when you trade Micah Parsons. You now have all these assets to go make something happen, right?
right.
Like yeah, like you know, this team has had too many average players on their defense, but it's been negated by the fact that they had Micah Parsons. And the reason why they haven't been able to upgrade a lot of these positions is because they had Micah Parsons, and they know they had to pay a large amount of money coming up to him pretty soon. So now in the offseason, if you want to, you can improve your safeties. If you want to, you can improve your cornerbacks. If you want to, you can improve your linebackers because you're going to have the money to do it, and you're going to have 4 first-round draft picks. Like I get it, people are dunking on the Cowboys because Micah Parsons has a really good start to his time in Green Bay, but like both teams are benefiting from this trade. The Green Bay Packers are in a position where they could potentially be Super Bowl contenders because they traded for Micah Parsons. I think the Cowboys, yeah, they might not be Super Bowl contenders this particular season, but they
Mhm.
weren't going to be that. They weren't going to be a Super Bowl contender with Micah Parsons, regardless.
Right.
But they now have given the Cowboys the proper assets, not just by trading them Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks, but by not having to pay Micah Parsons. You're now going to be able to build out a really, really good defense.
Right. And that's what I kind of wanted to talk about too, was one of the big things for me at least was that if you have a plan, execute it. Now, again, we're still in the midst of that. And I haven't talked to you about the Micah, well, off this, offline, of course. But my main thing is here, right? And I'm going to talk about this in the video. So anyone that's watching this live, this is a little sneak preview for the next video that I do. And you said it too, Chris, on your video about Micah Parsons and the Packers overpaying. The fact of the matter is that the Packers are in a win now scenario. They have to win a Super Bowl because of the move they made. For the Cowboys, if everyone wants to clown on the Cowboys for making this trade, okay, fine. But at the end of the day, this is supposed to set the Cowboys up for 2026 and even 2027. So we won't know how the Cowboys side of this thing pans out until down the road or when all the picks have been made. And so for me, you can't say the Cowboys are a loser. Obviously, you could say they're a loser in the immediate because we're watching what's going on with the Packers. But, Chris, remember what happened last year with the Saints when they were looking like the greatest show on turf? They were 2-0. How did that end? They didn't even make the playoffs.
And here's the thing, right? You know, when it comes to damn, I had a great point. It just escaped my mind.
Hey, it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, at the end of the day, like I said, like you weren't going to win with Micah, and not only that, like, you know, if the Cowboys get all these expectations placed on them, then the Packers need to have a bunch of expectations placed on them, and if they don't win a Super Bowl, they need to be criticized and be told that they overpaid and all this other stuff like the Cowboys have. And I just, here's what I was going to say.
Go for it.
To all the like the little guys on ESPN, like Dan Orlovsky and all those guys. Oh, the Cowboys need to turn these first-round picks into a new quarterback. Why? Like, they have a it makes no sense. Like,
they're not on that timeline, Chris.
They clearly have a quarterback that they can win with. And all they have to do now is, all right, let's build this defense out so he doesn't have to score 40 points to win a game against the Giants.
That's it. And I think, and Chris, I said this before the season began. I talked with you behind the scenes, and I've said it on other shows. If you went into this year thinking the Cowboys were going to win it all this year, you're going to be disappointed. However, and we even said it earlier in the year, that this is a year where you are recalibrating this team for the next year and the year after. That doesn't excuse any mistakes you make this year. But what was it, Chris, that we've talked about this offseason? We want to see an offensive identity. We want to see this team develop consistency offensively. And what are we seeing? They're utilizing pre-snap motion. On top of that, it's rare that we see the Cowboys be in a position where the other team is more undisciplined than them. And obviously, like, the Cowboys had 12 penalties today, but not all of them.
A lot of them on special teams.
Right. Yeah, most of them were on special teams. But my point is,
I think talk about.
Yeah, of course. But my thing is that, like, what I'm just trying to get at is that the discipline on offense, like, I think you only had like one pre-snap penalty, right?
Devontae Smith is down, by the way.
Oh shit, is he?
Looks like a hip thing. I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think that's gonna be anything significant. But it looks like, because like I had something like that happen to me when I played basketball. Mm-hmm. But and here's the thing, right? Like, so I went up for a rebound, and I was like damn near at the rim, and somebody took my legs out. Yeah, and I fell straight on my hip, and it hurt for like a few days, like really, really bad. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he's probably going to be out of this game because I've seen what that looks like.
Now, I wanted to I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but I wanted to actually bring up this portion. I understand that this is the Space Cowboy Show and we're just mainly talking about the Cowboys end of things. But think about it from the Giants' perspective, right? They are trying, like specifically Dayball, he's been on the hot seat for quite some time now. Especially because, hey, Daniel Jones, I need to get my guy type of feeling. That's kind of what it's felt like in New York. You're adding all these pieces. You go into this game and you have it snatched away from you, and now you're 0-2 on the road, 0-2 in the division as well. To me, I personally think that if I'm the Giants and looking at how they handled this game, I mean, yeah, they pretty much played perfectly offensively minus the interception, but I felt like they needed to slow the pace down knowing the stakes in overtime. But if it were me, and maybe this is a hot take, I think Dayball's on the hot seat for what happened in this game.
Yeah, no, he is. He 1000% is. I mean, look, that's their problem.
That's not my problem. Hey, we're not 0-2 in the division. We're 1-1. We should be 2-0. But the fact is, Chris, is that you get this win, you avoid that 0-2 hole, especially in the division. We're going to see what happens in Philadelphia, or excuse me, what happens with Philadelphia in Kansas City, because if they lose, cool. Now you're in that position where it's not like Philadelphia's ahead of you. Granted, they have the tiebreaker over you, but you can always make that up down the road. And the fact is, Chris, and you know it, and I know it too, that if this team hypothetically was going to make a run, which I'm not saying they are, we want to see that happen in October, November, December, not in September, right? So
I'm very, very worried about Matt Eberflus. I mean, I am.
Me too.
I'm extremely, extremely, extremely worried.
Man, dude, I really think this is 2020 all over again. It feels like when we had Mike Nolan and it was like we were running a scheme that clearly you didn't have the personnel to run. That's where I'm worried is like, okay, are they going to give him? And again, to be honest with you, Chris, we did get rid of Micah Parsons when he was here. I understand like we can talk about what he was doing in the offseason with the training. I understand that. But the fact is you pretty much had to reorganize your defense. You lost Ron Bland to injury. So I would say that right now you've had one half of football in that Eagles game where it was like, what the hell? And then you had this whole game where it was like, oh my God, what is happening? So,
and here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
Like when, the thing is with Russell Wilson is, I mean, he's always been known for what he does down the field, throwing the ball
Right.
down the field. And when you have that many busted coverages and you have a quarterback, like the only thing Russell Wilson can do still is throw the ball down the field and be accurate, like
Mhm.
down the field. So, like when you have all these busted coverages and you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, he's going to expose you. Like I'll be honest with you, I think this defense plays a lot better next week because Caleb Williams, he's not, he still has some room to grow here. The deep ball accuracy isn't great for him. The processing isn't great. And I think those are really the only two things that Russ can still do at this age and apparently scramble.
Right. Like,
But I will be very shocked if the defense plays as bad as it did this week, next week. I think you beat Chicago, you go to 2-1, and then you see what happens with the Packers.
yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know how much better the Packers defense is than the Giants defense, and you put up those type of numbers against the Giants defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, they have Micah Parsons. Giants have Dexter Lawrence. They're like on the same level of players. Burns, Thibodeau. Like they're a really good unit that they have there with that defensive line and that defense as a whole. It's really impressive what they have.
Of course.
Over there. So.
Yeah.
Dak being able to stay in the pocket, be comfortable, and deal with the pressure that he was dealing with all game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, you feel great about the offense. You just want to see more out of this defense.
Right. And this is going to be Dak's second time going to Chicago in his career. He has not won there. The last time he was there was in 2019 when we had that debacle on Thursday Night Football
Yeah.
against the Bears. You haven't won in Chicago since 2014. And the only other time that you won in Chicago outside of 2014 was in 2007. So the way that I'm looking at this, Chris, is that, if this Matt Eberflus defense continues its struggles, you're going to have a long day. But to your point, I think that knowing the type of quarterback that Caleb Williams is at this current moment, and he hasn't clicked yet, you need to take advantage of that. You need to take advantage of the situation, kind of like how I said before this game. I thought that Russell Wilson wasn't going to cook in the game the way he did. But my point is you need to take advantage. In this case, you should go on and beat Chicago because Chicago is not a good football team as of this particular point in time. And you need to also win that game because the Packers have been a horrible matchup for the Cowboys for the longest time. The Cowboys haven't beaten the Packers since 2016 in Dak's rookie year in Lambeau, and that's including both home and away. So I think that that's where we really need to see this team continue to gel offensively, which we saw it happen in real time. Literally, we saw in real time this offense, what we thought that this offense could be, it happened. Defensively, different story.
Well,
but
and here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Last week, Josh Allen and the Bills, they didn't look great until the final 5 minutes of the game.
Right.
So, I was hearing people say, well, the offense didn't play that well in the first half. But it's you can't, the second half, you played so much better. We gave Josh Allen all the credit in the world for that last week. And, you could say, oh, well, they played the Ravens. But it's the Ravens' defense isn't that much better than the Giants.
Right.
We gave Josh Allen all this credit. Why can't we give Dak and the Cowboys offense that much credit?
And I wanted to share this stat with you, Chris, and you could probably talk about this on your late show. The Cowboys went 3 for 3 in the red zone today. The Giants went 1 for 5 in the red zone. That is impressive, man. They converted. So far this year, the Cowboys are 5 for 6 in the red zone, and the only time they didn't score was the Miles Sanders fumble. Impressive stuff. On top of that, the Cowboys had 478 yards of total offense. They were averaging 5.8 yards per play. They did have, let me take a look here. They did control time of possession, contrary to how the game went. And this is also including overtime, of course. But the fact that they were able. Oh, by the way, I have to give a shout out to Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams had the first 30-yard rush by a Cowboy since 2023. That's how long it's been since we've had a guy that ran not a touchdown.
Sanders?
Yeah, no, you can include. I'm talking about a touchdown. Sorry,
Oh,
a touchdown.
touchdown. Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
my bad. I was talking about a touchdown. Obviously, Miles Sanders was the first 30-yard rush since.
Oh, let me
Yeah.
bring this up before
Sure.
I forget it.
Yeah.
This special teams unit, holy cow, man. I mean, holy cow, is this special teams unit something that we have to worry about?
It's bad, man.
Nick Sorensen, look, why can't we get a normal defensive coordinator? Or, I'm sorry, a special teams coordinator. He comes in, he just does what he has to do. The special teams, it's not great, but it's not bad. You're not getting penalized out of the wazoo. It's just, man, it was costly. I mean, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. They gave Dak every reason to not win this game, and he still won this game. It was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where, as we talked about it throughout the show, is that, again, there are things that we are concerned about. Obviously, if you understand the status of the team, you're going to have proper expectations. But as a fan, listen, I'm not going to be upset that you win a game. Of course, as we're analyzing it, we could be upset with what happened in the game. I mean, I was being upset with what was happening in real time at that point. But the fact is, Chris, is getting this win was huge for the confidence of this team, for Brian Schottenheimer. I love what he's done with the play calling.
Does anybody want to talk about that, by the way, as well?
What?
Brian Schottenheimer got his first win as a coach. That's huge.
Dude, that is massive, especially if like you're thinking in the back of your head, like, oh no, like so to get that first win and get that weight off your shoulders is
Yeah, it's
massive.
huge.
Especially in the manner that you did it, man, and knowing how he's coming from, and I'm just glad that they won it for him. That was one of the big things. This was, again, the 1,000th game the Cowboys have played in their franchise history, the 45th time they've played in overtime. They had 3 possessions and they won it at the buzzer. This is exactly what we've wanted to see since we've had Brian Shaw. And again, I understand that like there were plays where they were outbeat because the Giants, like you said, and I've said it too, they have a great defense. But you have to give them credit because, and they talked about this in the broadcast, by the way, they talked about how they were using much more motion than last year. And we saw it in this game. I understand that with the situational play calling at the end of the half, we were like, what are we doing? But I personally think, Chris, I'm not sure how you feel. I felt like they made up for that at the end of the game. The way that they executed the play calling, getting into that position, granted with what happened, sure. But the way they were able to kind of adjust on the fly was impressive. To understand where they were at in the game, to understand, we need to pass the ball more because this is where we're at, or knowing when to run. But Cowboys are 1-1. Giants are 0-2. You go on the road to Chicago, and next week, I believe it's a 4:25 game. And now it's a matter of, can you build on what you did here offensively? Every single week I'm going to ask that. But defensively is the big question mark. And especially because DeMarvion Overshone wasn't out there, which you miss him for sure. I've not been a fan of Jack Sanborn. I wanted to talk about that because I was high on him coming here, and he's not looked good. And then finally, defensively, you missed Deron Bland, but
Well, I mean, look, it's just,
yeah.
I think that they're, so far this season, some things have went the Cowboys' way and some things haven't went their way. I mean, it just
Right.
is what it is. Like, it seems as though the division isn't as strong as people thought it was coming into the season. Like, I'm not 100% sold on the Eagles and them being as good as they were last year. And I mean, you almost freaking beat them last week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the way I look at this is, I mean, there's no reason you can't win this division. There's no reason you can't win 10 games this year. And whatever you do after that is going to be based on if this defense can play better. Because, I mean, if they can, I mean, now you see that against one of the better defenses in the league, you're able to win a shootout.
Exactly. And I think that says a lot about what this team can do, especially if they continue to build that, not just for this year, but going forward. Because, Chris, they've needed to be able to run the ball effectively for the longest time. And not like, I understand you're not going to have a 20 or 30 yard run every single time, but setting up those third down and manageables, the stones to go for it on that 4th and 5, like the 4th and 1, I like, when I think it was at the beginning of the game where Dak snuck it, but it was a delay of game. If you were really going to go for it, I understand what they were trying to do, but that has to be better executed. But again, you got into a shootout in that 4th quarter, 41 total points. If you want to include overtime, 44 total points. You won at home. If you're a Giants fan, you're dejected. If you're a Cowboys fan, this is something that's
a lot of Cowboys fans are dejected. But like the thing is, right? Look,
yeah. Well, I mean, look at all these ungrateful Cowboys fans, bro.
Man, look at all these ungrateful Cowboys fans.
Like, bro, listen.
Bro, what is wrong with them, bro?
What is Listen, man. I think that at the end of the day, all jokes aside, there are things that we can take away and be upset about, but I'm not going to be upset. Again, I'm going to say this every single time they win. You ain't going to get me getting mad about the fact that the Cowboys win. And I understand. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it. No, go for it. Go for it.
They put up 40 points. It's not like they won 20-17 and the offense looked bad and like the defense looked bad, but you were getting consistently bailed out to the point where it took points off the board. Defense played awful. This is probably the worst they're going to play all season. And you're still able to win this game because you put up 40 freaking points. Like I like, and the overwhelming positive that people should take from the first 2 weeks is that it looks like that bad season that your quarterback had last year was just a
Was an
bad.
anomaly.
Holy cow, Jalen Hurts got decked.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was holding
But
on to the ball again for 8 seconds, and then he got absolutely decked.
But yeah,
But
it looks
no,
like an anomaly, bro.
Yeah, it looks like an anomaly. I mean, you have the receivers that you have. The offensive line has played some pretty good pass rushes here. I mean, it's like, look, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
No.
Do they have a chance to be one of the best teams in the NFC? For sure.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, man, there are some real positives that the Cowboys have shown this season. I think people are just going to focus on the negatives and not see the, I think, tremendous step forward that this team has taken from last
Right.
year. Like,
Right. And the thing is, and I was looking at the stats, Dak Prescott completed 73.1% of his passes today, considering he threw the ball 52 freaking times.
and he wasn't throwing the ball. He wasn't checking the
Yeah.
ball down.
Only a couple times, yeah, but like he was dotting people up, man. And that's what's crazy to me is that, again, like you said, and I completely agree, and I've said it several times over on other shows, I feel like 2024 was a massive anomaly because of what you did to build the offense. And on top of that, considering what you were doing schematically, it's totally different this year. And you can't tell me otherwise. And for him to do what he did, again, he had to put the backpack on. And people are going to be like, like, he had to lead you on a game-winning drive, what, twice, basically? Maybe even a couple times? So to me, he did what he needed to do. And again, if people were going to give him props for what happened in that Eagles game, they need to give him props for what he did in this game. Again, was he perfect? No. No quarterback is perfect unless it's like a rare situation. But he did exactly what he was asked to do and what he's paid to do. And CeeDee Lamb came alive when George Pickens, holy mackerel, there he is. But I was going to end the show with this, Chris, because obviously, there's a lot going on. We just signed Jadeveon Clowney. Now, for Clowney, does this – I don't want to say – like, I have no problem with the addition. I think he's a solid run defender on the edges, which is what the Cowboys need. But do you think – like, how do you think about this addition? Do you think they need to do more? Do you think, like, on that edge? Because I feel like adding Clowney into an already crowded room's a lot.
I think what they really need to do is they need to improve at safety. I mean, the position has been as average as it gets over the past few years.
Mhm.
And not only has it been average, you've kept the same average players that you have back there, and you're starting to see those average players start to age a little bit.
Right.
And I mean, it's, to me, the three places that, I mean, they need help all over this defense, but three places that they just need to improve, this season and in the offseason is they got to improve at linebacker. They have to improve at safety. And they have to improve. I mean, look, if they can keep Kenny Clark, man, with Oso Diazua, I mean, this is the best. I mean, how long has it been since the Cowboys have had a defensive tackle duo this good? I mean,
Jay Ratliff and Anthony Spencer, probably.
But I even think they're better than them.
No, I agree. I'm thinking like Leroy Glover, Marcus. Like, I'm just trying to think, but no, it's been so long, dude. Like, you got to really think about it. You know what I mean? Like, because this
No,
is...
is it saying much? I don't know how much it's saying. That that's
right.
But what I am saying is that, like, this is a legitimate, and I mean, it's a good rotation here as well. Like, Solomon Thomas, I mean, holy cow, he was playing his tail off today.
Oh, yeah. He
somebody
needs to
said-
get his flowers on that.
Somebody said, Dak said, F it, I'll play defense too. Which was absolutely hilarious.
That's amazing.
But Solomon Thomas looked very good. I mean,
Yeah.
Jay Toya for a rookie, he looks decent, but I mean, he's fine depth in that room. But I mean, you keep Kenny Clark. I still think he has at least 3 good years left in him. I mean, he's only 29 going on 30. Like, he could play till he's easily 33 and be a very quality player there. So you want to improve your edges. You want to improve its safety, and then corner. My only thing with corner is like, bro, we need to see how Revel plays when he gets back. But if Revel comes back and plays at a high level, now you have Revel and Diggs on the outside. You have Bland in the slot. You feel great about that. And then if you improve your safeties, then you feel even better about that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't think Kyrie Elam is bad for like a depth piece, but if he's your starter, you're definitely looking to upgrade at that position.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And so that's kind of where I'm looking at this, Chris. And we're going to go ahead and close this thing out here. The Dallas Cowboys win in an overtime thriller against the Giants, 40-37. Dak Prescott plays his tail off. The defense makes me want to have a heart attack. But at the end of the day, they get a win. We go on to Chicago next week, and hopefully we get another win there. But, Chris, do you have any final thoughts before we close the show out?
To all the Cowboys fans out there, don't be ungrateful Cowboys fans. Be happy that your team won. Your quarterback's playing at an extremely high level. You have a lot of fun things going with this offense. Hope the defense improves. But, I mean, I feel a lot better about this team through 2 games than I did last year. Way better.
Of course. Absolutely, and I completely agree. Again, I'm along for this ride as well as we are Cowboys fans, but we will see you next week, or actually later in the week when we preview the Chicago game here on the Space Cowboy Show, and we'll get a video out talking about this Micah Parsons trade as we're kind of getting further and further from that initial trade. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.